We are heading into temptation season. It's that time of year where social functions increase massively, which means more alcohol, more eating, less sleep, more stress, and so on. And unfortunately, a lot of people get to the end of this period at a time where their health and fitness has taken a massive hit. So today, I want to give you 5 tips on how to stay healthy through the crazy holiday period. So we're heading into that time of year where social season increases, and with that we're just faced with so much temptation and positions where we're kind of set up to fail with our health and our fitness. And unfortunately, for a lot of people get to this time of year and they kind of go down the wrong path, which means that when they wake up in mid-January, they're in a place of deficit. They're going to put a lot of attention and energy into looking after themselves. So today I just want to give you 5 tips that you can put in place in this moment so that when you wake up in January, you may have even taken so much of a step back and you may even be at a good place with your health and fitness. I've written down here right here in front of me. So what's tip number 1? Tip number 1 is try to keep as much of your base health habits in place. Because what happens at this time, let's say you've had 4 social functions this week. So maybe your sleep's starting to fall away, or maybe your exercise is starting to fall away. And what we're trying to say here is you might have to accept that some of these things are going to be compromised at this time, but you still want to try to keep as much of them in as possible. Actually, interesting, yesterday morning of our running session, a lady called Catherine turned up to our group and she said to me, I've been to like 4 social functions in the last 7 days. And I said, well done for turning up for the run this morning. She said, Bev, I knew I was going to suffer in today's run, but I also knew that was going to help look after me in this moment in time. And so while at this time you may have to take some compromise for your health and fitness habits, try to keep enough of them in this crazy time. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is different environments doesn't mean you always get to overindulge. Sometimes in life we know we're going to a certain environment or a certain thing and we think to ourselves, I'm going to let go because I get to go to this place. So it might be, I know I'm having drinks with friends tonight, and because I don't do it that often, I'm going to go crazy tonight. Now that's okay if that's happening once a month or every so often, but if that's happening 4 times a week, then this is a problem. So one thing I want you to think about in this tip is how do you make sure you don't let the environment trigger almost kind of like a crazy offset of behavior. So because I'm going here, I get to go crazy. What you want to think about is, sure, I'm going into an environment with temptation, but what's limits that I can be healthy within this environment? So it's more a mindset thinking here. What's my mindset as I go towards temptation environments and trying to avoid the mindset of, I'm going here, I'm going all out in this time. Tip number 3 is focus on the real reason you can get enjoyment out of these social environments. Not the overindulging reason. So not just that I can get as drunk as possible or I can eat as much as I want to or stuff like that. It might be I get to really connect and have a really fun experience with my workmates at a work social function. So the real why is connection and fun. Or it might be that you're going to do something where you get up and go dancing. You don't get to go dancing so often, so you get the enjoyment of dancing. So when you think of this social activity you're moving towards, don't put so much of the focus on the things which are about overindulging. Think about the real reason why you can get as much value out of that environment and what you can do to get that value while you're in it in a healthy way. Tip number 4 is put plans in place. So if you know you're going to an environment where it's going to have lots and lots of food, and maybe you're trying a weight loss journey, maybe have a bit of a strategy before you go into that environment. One I always like to think about is, let's say your work's putting on a dinner out and you go to a restaurant where you have big servings. You might look at the menu before you go out that night and determine what you're going to have before you even go, based on a time frame of where you're in a good mindset around your health and fitness. And that just allows you to make better choices before the moment when you get there. And a bit of planning, both around the decisions you're going to make in that night, can really help. Let's use the alcohol one. You might decide, you know what, I'm going to have a wine tonight, or I'm only going to have 2 glasses of wine in the night before you even leave to go out that night. A bit of pre-planning, both physically or practically and mentally, will definitely help you through this time. And then the 5th tip, and this is a really important tip, is you want to have a health mindset through this time of year. And what I mean by this is the foundation of all your thoughts is how do I keep health in the front of my mind as I work through this time of year? Because I guarantee if you keep a health mindset through this time of the year, You'll get out, you'll do your exercise. Sure, you might not do as much, but you'll make better decisions around this. You'll make better decisions around eating and drinking. You'll do the planning. You'll do all the other things I've talked about. And to me, this is the biggest difference. For a lot of people, when they hit temptation season, they just jump into the deep end without putting any thought in it, and they let everything go. People who tend to be healthy have a health mindset, where they put their focus on, sure, I'm going to let the reins out a little bit, but I'm going to do it in a way where I'm going to maintain my health in this way. Now, these 5 tips, what are my 5 tips? Number 1 is keep your base habits in place around your health and fitness. Number 2, when you go to different environments, that does not mean you get to unleash, have some control around them. Number 3, focus on the real why you can get the value out of this environment. Number 4, set plans before. And number 5, have a health mindset. Ideally, if you could put these things in place, you'll get to that mid-January period in a place where sure, you might take a small step back, but it's not a massive step back, which means you can start 2025 in a way where you're on top of your health and fitness. If you enjoy my pieces and you want to bring exercise into your life, you need to check out my book, I Will Make You Passionate About Exercise. This book is designed to be a step-by-step journey that teaches you the right lessons and experiences to guide bringing exercise into your life, not just for a moment, but where you get to the place where you have a long-term love of exercise. So you get fitter, you get healthier, you have great stress releases, and you feel amazing about yourself. This book has been hugely successful, getting to the top 10 in the world for health and fitness books. So if it's time for you to bring health and fitness into your life, go to Passion About Exercise, click on the link, go through the process, and you can be starting your journey of finding your love for exercise really soon.